Who gets to decide how bright someone can have their lights? How's the township gonna enforce this? I mean, don't people have a legal right to put lights on their property? Attorney?
Yes, and the township has the right to regulate the intensity, brightness, and positioning of those lights.
Who gets to decide how intense these lights can be, quote unquote intense?
The ordinance will decide that.
In the ordinance is based on standards promulgated by those recommendations of experts and engineers in the field.
And who's this ordinance targeting?
It doesn't target anyone specifically. It's meant to address an issue in the township.
There's an existing issue, so it's targeting that issue, so who are you, once you have it on the books, who are you intending to use it on? Are you intending to use it on Top Golf? Are you intending to use it on McDonald's? I think I'd like you to answer that.
The existing ordinance already addresses those, as do other ordinances within the township. They are already subject to that as part of their approval process, planning, design, and they're subject to that the same as any other business is subject to it.
So I can't put up Christmas lights?
This ordinance doesn't prohibit that.
Okay. So who's it gonna be used against?
Those structures and properties which violate it.
Which properties are those?
I do not know. I cannot predict the future.
Council President, which properties have violated this ordinance if it took effect?
As the lawyer said, we cannot predict the future.
Well, I'm not asking about the future, I'm asking, who did Mayor Joshi decide to, start targeting this time?
We can go further details as to how this issue came about, but it was not necessarily targeting anybody. There's an issue in town that is brought to our attention by Councilman Joshi, and this was an issue that council agreed that we need to address moving forward, so that, other neighbors do not have to suffer through bright lights.
Okay. I'm against this, the whole thing, now somebody with my land?
2 minutes.
What about lights to grow marijuana? Would those be prohibited?
I think this is going off topic. This is outdoor lighting.
I wanna grow a little bit outside too.
If they're mounted on the outside of the building, then yes, they would be subject to the ordinance.
I'm against the ordinance. I'm against it. Can you name one good use this ordinance would benefit? Cause I don't got no UFO lights outside my house, so.
Speaker has 1 minute.
Alright. It's just rather strange to me. Who put this ordinance on the agenda?
The council.
Specifically? Who on the council recommended it?
The issue was brought up by Councilman Joshi, as already stated, and that the council agreed that we need to bring this up.
AJ, can you put in here that we're not including any
answer all your questions once we are done with 6 minutes. I don't want to take your time.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else on ordinance 2235? Alright, may I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion closed.
Second.
Alright, that's a motion by Councilman Pointer, second by Councilman Coyle. All in favor? Alright, can I get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Second.
That's a motion by Councilman Ponto, second by Councilman Pointer. Any council comments?
Thank you, Council President, and thank you this council for putting this ordinance. I understand that there were several questions on this ordinance, but this is very specific. Our current ordinance doesn't reflect the control on the intensity of the light, especially for the residential, though it applies to the commercial as well. With the new development that is happening all around the town, now the new design, people started putting the lights on the second floor, bright lights, not one, every feet and a half, and that does cause an issue, especially in the backside, if the neighbors is getting in their bedroom, literally. It's like, if you understand what happened to Topwell, that's exactly the situation in the neighboring community, and hopefully this ordinance will put some sort of a restriction on those types of lights. As well, this also covers to the greatest extent the similar things for the commercial as well. It's not about the privacy, it is not about the safety, but it's about the controlling how many lights and how much light you can. It's basically light trespassing. That's the this ordinance addressing the light trespassing to the neighborhood. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman Platt. Any other council members? Okay, as for me, I fully agree in support of this ordinance. I believe it's part of being a good neighbor, not to annoy you. And I think this essentially regulates that, and I hope the council passes this. Now, can I get a roll call?
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris. Yes. Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Patel.
Yes. Okay, moving on to number 7. Public comments on the resolution. So this is specifically to the proposed resolutions. If anybody has any comments?
Sue Malone, Barber, 85 Pleasant Ave.
You have next.
Resolution 593-10-2024, providing the municipal council's advice and consent to the appointment of the mayor, by the mayor of, I can't pronounce the first name, Mr. Patel, to the redevelopment agency. I have some questions about that. I am in favor of a redevelopment agency, but I'd like to know, is this the first appointment to the redevelopment agency? Do any of you know who this person is? And can you tell me why you think this appointment should be approved? Have you seen a resume? What are this person's qualifications? Is this person connected in any way to the mayor or anyone on the council? I understand there can be 7 commissioners on the agency. We have some familiarity with this because one of our Claremont neighbors, Tom O'Shea, was actually a commissioner on a redevelopment agency for Sayreville. We brought this up with the mayor early on. Tom made a proposal, and I think he would really be a great person for this agency. I can circle back on that. But I just reread the ordinance, and apparently there's some new rules in 2023 for a redevelopment agency, and I think a town of our size can actually have 9 commissioners versus 7, and with a maximum of 3. If we go to 9, 3 township officials on that board. I would like those questions answered, but I also would like to urge the council by creating a redevelopment agency, which I think we really, really need, it's important. But you as a body need to be very, very, very thoughtful about who is appointed to this agency. By its very nature, they have a great deal of power and responsibility, and I think people should be vested in what's right for the individual redevelopment zones. You know, I'm talking about Amboy. I think it's unique in that it's an entire partial corridor. I know other towns have residents or people with interest at stake in their individual redevelopment areas. And I would urge you to speak to Tom. He has a resume, he has qualifications for this, and I know he would like to be on the agency. So, I, again, would like the questions asked about requirements, the person being appointed. I have nothing against them, but I'd like to know, like, what are their qualifications to be on this agency? I think a redevelopment agency will have a great impact on the town, but because they do have that kind of power, it can be good impact or not so good impact. And this council holds the keys to making sure this is an effective redevelopment agency.
Thank you, Sue, and I
Thank
agree.
you.
With great responsibility comes, with great power comes great responsibility, that's fine. In terms of the first appointment, yes, it is the first appointment. We have this on the books, but we never appointed anybody onto it, so this is the first member that's gonna be appointed to it. Do we know the person? I personally don't know the person, I can't speak for the rest of the council, but I do not know the person. We did get the resume for the person, he is an engineer by trade, and the resume seems good, to me at least, but again, this will be for the council to decide. Qualification, again, the resume is what we have to go with. Connections, I can't speak for that, I don't know, who knows who, but based on the resume, I think this would be a great first candidate. At least we'll get something on the books and get something started. So that's all I have for all the questions that you asked. Okay? Thank you, Sue.
Okay, thank you.
Council
Thank you.
President. Council President, the attorney, well, first of all, I think this is good, having the agency. But what is the agency's actual power to be able to do? Do they have the right, let's say, to negotiate and circumvent planning or zoning?
Resolution 593. My question for this is, was this agency posted that they were looking for people? Were their applications filled out? Was there an interview policy? And I did hear you say that he's the first of up to 9. Did I miss? I didn't hear that.
Our ordinance is set.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And my other question is, what will be their ultimate goal? Because I know in the past, there have been, I've heard anyway, that there are different places around town that are in need of development. So will this agency be overlooking those needs and looking for new leads? And what qualifications on their application makes them appropriate for this position is my first item. The second one is R611, where resolution awarding payment to various nonprofit organizations in a dollar amount of $24,000. I know I had heard that you were working on a new formula, but is this figure on the old formula and you haven't come up with the new formula yet, is my next one. And number 3, the resolution awarding Brian Scheck to the Veteran Memorial Committee. Same thing, was that something that was posted, applied for? And what is their goal moving forward for that committee?
So let's start with the first one. This is an agency that's been on the books. I am not sure when it got on our books. It has been on our books, but it has never held members. So this was something I've been asking the mayor to appoint people to. And the process is, yes, you have to apply and you have to, the mayor selects. As to what his particular process is, I am not sure. The mayor selects, it comes to this body to approve. The first member he chose is Rabilal Patel, and it comes to us to approve him or not. What is their ultimate goal? Their ultimate goal is to essentially find any blight around town, any property that is not being used to its fullest. It is just sitting around, and we have plenty of properties, I'm sure you're aware. And so, unfortunately, we don't have a particular group that is focused on it, and I'm hoping that this agency, their sole focus being redevelopment agency, is to redevelop these properties and bring it in front of us, or move that process along faster, so we can get those properties up and running, remove the blight, get some more taxes from the same property that are just sitting around and not doing anything for the rest of us. So that is the goal. The qualifications, I believe is engineering will be good, but again, I think as it comes to us, each individual members, we'll have to judge them based on the resume. That will be my recommendation. Unfortunately, I can't speak for the rest of the council. The second question, the old formula, 611.
Wait.
Yes.
The first one was posting. Was it posted?
I'm sorry.
So how do you apply for something that you don't know about, especially for a committee that hasn't had
I'm not sure
membership?
if they posted it, because this is administration. Did you guys post this?
How do you
Typically, it's
apply?
postings for any committees or commissions are done through the list that the clerk posts.
Okay.
And this is one of them?
Was brought to our attention when there was discussion about the redevelopment agency. So just for reference, this is the ordinance 1626 from 2008 references the duties, powers, and the makeup of the commission. So I'd reference that for Ms. Conway.
Okay. Sorry, it's coming. 611, it is the old formula. The new formula, they haven't finalized it because they played around with some numbers, but it seems like if we change it this last second, the teams that are depending on this money would be kind of really in a dire strait. So rather than throw them off and completely throw off their yearly year, we decided to keep this old formula in, and we'll work on it to finalize the
Speaker has 1 minute.
This 643, Brian Scheck. This is actually an error on our part, because this is something I wanted to talk about at the work session, which I missed. But we have committees that are not active. Brian Scheck is the person that actually does all the veteran stuff. He is our sole lead for all the veteran stuff. So when we dedicate streets, street signs and everything, he is the person that we go to. But he's not on the Veterans Committee. And he just does all these things because he was the sole person, and we didn't realize that he's not on the committee. And he pointed this error out to us, and it was an easy solution, saying, hey, yes, you belong on this committee. You're doing the work, you're just not on the committee. And this was something I wanted to bring up during the work session, that maybe we need to look back at our committees and figure out which committees are actually being utilized to their full potential and which ones are not. And if the ones that are not, maybe we can remove them from the books and then reassign them so that they can work as intended. But again, this is something I'll discuss at the next work session. It's not going to be discussed today.
That's it.
Joshi Freeman. Sorry.
Since I raised a lot of money for the veterans veterans.
Sorry, name and address.
Sorry, Joyce Freeman.
You're right.
Since I raised a lot of money for this particular committee, the Memorial Committee, and what was discussed about this committee was that it didn't have a formal ordinance. It didn't see the length of the time of the people, and it didn't have what the actual instructions are. So I would like to see them, if that's been done by now, because I'm very, very concerned about that, because raised a lot of money to fix up that memorial over there. I raised a lot of money to get it fixed, and there's nothing we've done for the veterans at all, but they'll get done because next year's election year, that's 6/23. All right, moving back along, discussing the redevelopment. Now, the redevelopment, when I was president of the council, the redevelopment, we had 3 people. We would meet in the room, we have a session with our then lawyer, Northgrave. Northgrave would discuss with us what the redevelopment is and the particulars and stuff of what needed to be redeveloped in each part of town. Now, I see why they're apprehensive about Mr. Patel to the redevelopment agency, because I haven't seen the resume, I haven't seen the connections of anybody, and I know, like you said, you don't know who's connected to who at all, and the mayor, well, it can be connected to the mayor because he makes all the decisions, correct? And about the awarding of the nonprofit organizations, I think you answered that because you were said this is the old farm formula, which is not a fair formula, because as I noticed, as I was after living here for such a long time, I noticed that I see kids walking around with soccer balls now with nowhere to go. And I just see pickleball fields, but nowhere for the other soccer kids to go. So I'm hoping we do better by our children with our leagues.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Upton Astor, Pleasant Avenue. I would like to table 576. Hoping you guys were discussing about tabling it anyway. I do not want us to be tied to the project. Someone said that if we accept it, then we really can't reject it because that'll cause problems in the future. We have residents and of any kind of side, whatever position they have, I would like to have them go ahead and address their concerns. And also I've been in contact with Councilman Pointer. I don't know if you were able to digest that email. Even if you didn't, I don't know if they're good ideas or not, but I think there are other things that we should consider before we make a decision that's kind of finalized today, as the issue is still fluid. 593, I would like more information, maybe even table this position that we're offering right now. Again, I'm concerned about how this person was selected. You said it was by the mayor, I believe? Okay. Does anyone else have any consideration in who should be nominated for the position? It's his sole discretion. Again, you said that he had a resume, and it was shared with the council? Everyone got it? Okay. He said his qualifications are that he is an engineer. Can we be specific about what kind of engineer is he? Is he a chemical engineer? Because that doesn't really help with what we're trying to go for. Any comment to that one?
I'm gonna wait for you done with everything.
Okay, I prefer to do one by one, so that way if I have to ask a follow-up question, it'd be easier for me. All right, is he also the third vice chair of the EDO? Because I'd rather have somebody that is not, having a political position. I'd just like to have something that's clean. So I would even suggest myself as well. I think that we need to do a better vetting process. Does this person have any properties in any area, that's what area of redevelopment? Because that'd be a conflict of interest, and I don't think that's a good idea. Let's see what else. And again, you said that he's not related to anyone, but you're not sure on the dais or to the mayor or something like that. But I think that that's something that we really should go ahead and take a look at. There are just too many connections everywhere in Edison. When I moved in here, that's something I learned. When I tried to get my job here, that was one of the things that they said that they wanted to make sure that it was somebody fresh that wasn't related to somebody, and I think that's a good idea. So I think that it's a good idea. The first pick I really think should be Tom O'Shea, because he's the one that actually said that we should bring this back. And it's been in dormancy. So it's really, it would show good faith, and it would be a really good idea to have somebody who actually had a position in a redevelopment agency that actually knows what it's all about and can accomplish what needs to be done. I'm not sure who the other person is exactly. I kind of know of the person sort of, but I think that somebody who actually has led one of these would be your first pick. I'm not sure why this is that first pick. Again, conflicts of interest are things that I have an issue with and the public has an issue with. And Tom was gonna make it today, but I kind of told him at the last minute, and he found out that he actually had something else to do. Otherwise, he would be up here telling you all the details and everything that he's done. He will be a great addition to this. That's it.
Resolution 576, I believe we are tabling this, as I said in the president's presidential remarks, because I think they are meeting with the Jackson residents, the administration is meeting with the Jackson residents, and I'm hoping that after that conversation, we can make a better decision, and that's the reason I'll be in favor of tabling that. In terms of Resolution 593, unfortunately, any recommendations that comes to this council will come through the mayor. So if the issue is what the mayor picks is a problem, unfortunately, we won't really have a choice, because by the ordinance, the mayor picks.
But you could decide not to vote for that person.
We can,
And so that's why I'm hoping that you've done the due diligence, everyone that's up there, to go ahead and check that this
but I
person.
believe we have 7 vacancies right now, and I believe this is the first candidate they put out. And he is an engineer, actually, I can't recall what type of engineer he is. Does anybody have that resume in front of them? Yes. And I do believe he is part of the EDO somehow. I don't remember that on the resume.
President, he is the 3rd vice chair of the EDO.
So I feel like that's not a good idea to have somebody with that kind of position, that kind of power. And I know how the EDO works, and I know how people get elected, and this is not a smart idea.
And he is a chemical engineer.
Speaker has
Okay,
1
so
minute.
that's not really helpful. A civil engineer would be much better, or
If
somebody.
you want me to finish my conversation, I would love to finish my thought.
Okay, so
Thank you.
when can I talk then?
When thank you, sir.
My time will expire, that's my problem.
Okay, so then,
Well, I'm just, so I'm not allowed to go ahead and comment on whatever you
so let
say.
me finish my thought.
Okay,
And
my
then
time will run out, go ahead.
Your questions, which you asked, and I'm trying to answer, is that he is a engineer in chemical, bachelor's in chemical engineering. I understand what you're saying about being EDO and conflict of interest. Unfortunately, it is for this council to decide, and I'm okay with it, because I believe someone who is a resident of this Edison is good and has good intention for the town, and can make an impartial decision, can be impartial on things. And I believe Tom O'Shea will be a great candidate, but again, it is not up to this council. It is for the mayor to bring him to this council. And if the mayor brings him to this council, then I believe we will approve. But it is a process that we would go through. We have 6 more members to a point before this agency can even function as intended. It hasn't even started, and we're already infighting about the most basic of facts. I agree with you that this needs to be done, and this needs to be done to make better choices for the town. And the best way to do that is let the council do their job and make decisions based on what the agency, what is being brought in front of us. Thank you. Anybody that would like to speak?
Good evening, Council. Charlie Cradaville from New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. Appreciate the discussion on some of these items, so I have a question on the redevelopment item as well. May I ask when and why and how did the redevelopment agency become defunct or nothing but vacancies?
Okay, anything else? I'll answer all the questions if you answer.
Existed since long time. I was a member of the redevelopment agency, though we did not appoint a member from public, but this is the first time.
You guys actually have the camera on the speakers, but the camera is not on the speaker anymore, just so everybody in the council knows. I wanted to preface that. You know, if you're gonna hire somebody, if you're gonna vote on somebody, I was listening to you guys on my way up here about the EDA. Why not have him here? Why not have the guy here?
Sir, this is resolution only, so do you have a?
You have resolution for the person for the hiring for the EDA?
I'm sorry, what?
You're putting somebody on the economic development?
Oh, the redevelopment agency?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the question on the redevelopment agency?
My suggestion is that you would have the candidate here. I mean, if you're gonna hire somebody for the city, wouldn't you wanna ask them some questions? Wouldn't you wanna ask them who they're related to, or if they have any conflicts of interest that might come up later, or what they do, what they've done, what they will do, how much time do they have to actually put forth to the city, and how much are they being paid? Is it a paid position? And is that 6 paid positions, you know, that you have to fill? And how much are they being paid? Is that something you could answer?
Is that it? Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, the final question would be just in the sense of if it hasn't been here, right? You haven't had this committee. My recommendation is that as a council, you consider if the committee had been formed before and had been working before, if it ever worked. You know, try to look at the history of this, not just say, oh, we don't have 6 people or 7 people in this committee. We're going to fill this up, and I'm sure it's going to cost money. But what's the purpose of it is the issue. And I understand redevelopment of these blighted areas, but you'd want to interview the candidates is my suggestion, because that's, you know, you can't, if somebody doesn't have time, just time alone, that would be the first question. How much time do you have to dedicate to this agency? And which would be the redevelopment agent of your city, and I'm sure they're getting paid. Just a quick example, in Trenton, there's a place called Greater Trenton Inc. The guy that runs that gets $350,000 a year. We still can't figure out what the hell he does. So it's just a title. They get $1 million a year, so just watch out where you put your money, and if you're gonna hire somebody, just speak to them first.
Well, just so you know, this is not a paid position.
That's good.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak on the resolution only?
So I can read off of it. Okay.
Sir, name and address,
Oh, anonymous?
you're recognized.
Thank you. R591?
And what's the question on 591?
Okay. Did the township, did they sue a opioid manufacturing facility? I'd like to know what's this from?
Your question is on resolution 581, what is that money from?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be waiting on another 3 to 4 or 5 years waiting on the redevelopment. This is sad. This is sad. And let me tell you something. You get paid like almost $20,000, not $20,000, but almost. They act smug, and they act like it's condescending, like, do I have to answer those people back and forth? Okay, because you cannot, and you're in answering questions because you cannot do your job. We all have to suffer, so now we gotta participate in a circus, all because nobody nipped it in the bud. Is that fair? No, that's not fair. Been in this town forever. And let me tell you, I went to council meetings back and forth, okay? Sometimes 12 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock. And the council members only got maybe $600 a month. Maybe $6,000, I guess for the whole year. But guess what? They were polite, they answered questions to the best of their ability, and they were respectful people that sat in those seats. It's very, very shame, because you know how each person, you know how they're gonna answer. You know what I think it's kind of ridiculous too? You got a council member filming the audience. He's filming the audience, okay? Tell me that's not childish and ridiculous, okay? Oh, I don't wanna film them, but you can film them, you know what I mean? Sometimes I think people should be ashamed of themselves. They really should. This is like a talk I give to my pre-college students. I talk to them and tell them, something you should be ashamed of yourself that you do. You know, and I've seen the film of the people on Clara Barton, and I've seen the guy saying there's no foot traffic down here. Well, guess what? And there's parking spaces. But I still say them bump outs is the worst. I've seen people work with snow plows and stuff. Those bump outs are the worst. You know, trying to squeeze in and trying to maneuver. Everybody doesn't understand. When certain roads get blocked, because they don't live that near us, when certain roads get blocked, it'll take you on Amboy Avenue, you like stuck there for 20, 30 minutes. There's no through way with that. It's horrible. I'm good. I'm gonna sit down so you don't call the cops. Thank you.
Council President, just to address the question on the master plan that was adopted July, the resolution at the planning board memorialized it, so our action steps will be on the council list directly. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council President.
Council President,
Council President.
yeah, just for our attorney to take note, from a councilwoman, she was talking about, the whistleblowers being targeted. I heard the same thing. I heard that they were looking to get phone records, and I don't know if they were for, police officers, elected officials, or residents. I also heard the judge denied them, but the concern would be if somebody actually did go to that. So I'm gonna ask the attorney to find that out, to see if there was an official request that was made, and, let me know.
Anyone?
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle.
You recognize.
Okay. Number one, with questions about the auditor, I know this is something that has to be done, but wouldn't it be more efficient if you met with the auditor, he went over it, because most of the stuff is very limited and just easily fixed, and if you have any questions, it can be done right then and there with someone in administration, so this way it can be shared. I know on the Board of Education, an auditor comes and actually explains all the different things that were found and how they were being fixed. So I think that might be an easier way to go, my opinion. Number two, I'm not against the gentleman that was appointed to the redevelopment agency. I'm morally questioning the process. Now, I looked, because I was told that the lists of committees are online. So I did look, and it does have redevelopment agency with nothing. It has 5 vacancies and expired terms of 2014. When I look back to the Human Relations Commission, I'm on that. But I was expired in December of 2023. And I was told, oh no, they'll just update it. Oh, I guess we need to look into that. But it's the process. Do people know, if by going on this, that it's an empty committee, that they should apply? Was it posted that we're looking for people? How many people applied? How many interviews were given? So this way you can move forward and say, everybody that I spoke to, if the mayor is doing the evaluations, that it's being done fair. I don't really care if it's EDO or MDO or RDO, whatever you want to call them. As long as the person is stepping up and is interested and has gone through the proper process. That's what I'm questioning. Is the process being followed? And obviously, it's 9 years since anybody was on it, so I guess you have to redevelop the process in order for it to be fair. Number 3, Inman Avenue and Old Raritan Road. When I came on Monday night and you were in executive session, President Patel, you had it on your list regarding a stop sign on Inman Avenue. Well, I believe there is a stop sign. But even though the stop sign is there, at that point, we couldn't see, even though there was a stop sign. So if you're thinking about stop signs, maybe if you could have an all-way stop. I don't know if that's as difficult as a light, but if everybody has to come to a stop, it might prove a little safer. And last but not least, 6 minutes to 4 minutes. I think the meeting's gone pretty well, even though we have very funny visitors tonight, but it's been calm. I've taken some pictures. I think it's hysterical. I'm sure with my husband. But I appreciate that they're trying to prove a point. But 6 minutes to 4 minutes is still an insult to me and to somebody like Joyce and somebody like Lois. We were teachers. Teachers talk. And we're not just asking Marlena every 2 seconds, Marlena, how much time do I have left? No, I'm saying what I have to say, and then when my time is up, I will go sit down, and hopefully you'll answer me. But this really needs to not only be tabled, but put onto the table and stomped on. Thank you.
In terms of the auditor, Sonia, can you quickly go through the process? But as far as I can show you, this is what the audit looks like, so it's kind of difficult to go through all of them, but the corrective action is much easier to swallow, if that's the, yeah. It's the audit, yes. So it's a very detailed audit, but if you can go through the process as to how this goes about.
So our auditors, they get here about probably late spring, and they go through each department, and there's a set of requirements, mostly, accounts that get reconciled, processes that we need to follow, whether it's the procurement law, whether it's, state statute laws that we have to follow. So there's just an array of the documents. But if I could make a suggestion, just like the budget, my office hours or out of office hours, and anybody would like to make an appointment, I'd like to sit down with you, as well as our CFO and finance director.
Council President, just on that
Let me
same
just
note.
finish the answers, and then we can get back to you, is that okay?
Okay, the same.
Yeah. And then I lost my train of thought. Yes, look at the committees. I agree with you. I think the committees do need to be looked at, and the process needs to be looked at. I think the whole process needs to be handled better. And I am going to take a look at it, and I'm hoping the council members will agree and will come up with a new process that will actually incentivize committees to be active and more engaged and dynamic in terms of what we need as a town. And then the Inman Avenue and the road, that Old Raritan Road, again, it's with the county. They are in discussion with the township to figure out whether or not we can have all-way stop sign. I don't know how far it is. I just wanted to get an update from the administration as to where that ended up being. But that is what the last I know of that particular situation. Councilman Joshi.
Yes, I just wanted to explain this concept. This audit is the same audit that you looked at when you were on the Board of Education and when I was there. In fact, we originally had the same auditor in both entities up until just maybe a couple of years ago. I think it was a personal issue. But, when you get it, it's kind of laid out and it does show you quite a bit. But on Board of Ed, we would get it, you know what I mean? And then I met with Hodgwick and Morris. I went to their office, right? We went through some of the items that maybe I had questions on. But with this was just a thing that just happened. It's not like I could call and go meet him or talk to Sonia. I mean, just you know, you give it to you on Monday, Tuesday I'm readily available, okay? So that's where that is, and your point on the committees, 100% agree, these are appointments by the mayor, okay? And our mayor, when he was a councilman, you know, he used to say, I want this and I want that. But he was just ineffective. We have the insurance committee, right? Look at the insurance committee online. They're supposed to review, like with our brokerage and that, to make sure that we're getting, you know, really decent deals and things of that nature. That committee, I don't think has ever met. Now with this mayor, not with the past, right? And like this administration will go, well, it was the past administration didn't do it either. Just because they did it wrong doesn't mean you can do it wrong, it makes it better. But he doesn't seem to get that. So these are his appointments for his vision, right? And this on our agenda was his vision. So it's kind of where it is. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council President. Anybody else?
Sue Marbury, Pleasant Avenue. Thank you. Just a couple of comments. We're not against a redevelopment agency. In fact, we believe that a redevelopment agency could be a really good thing. Like the other resident said, that my questions were directed at, was this person properly vetted? Is this person a political appointee? EEO is like, But that doesn't mean they won't do a good job. It's just, I think I would have avoided that. But mostly I'm appealing to the council that these are really important appointees. And you have to really make sure they're vetted. We know Edison is development happy. And if we have a redevelopment agency that is gung-ho and not following redevelopment plans and really taking into consideration what's right for each area, we'll have problems. It can be damaging or it can be really great. So that was the point, not changing the mind, appreciate the mayor's getting the ball rolling. We've been talking about it for a while. It's the process. Okay. A question, why was the decision made not to put the speakers on camera? Did you get that?
Any other questions?
And then, yeah, I do have a couple other things, or one other thing. It's just a follow-up, really. It's been quite a long time, and can someone tell me what happened to the warehouse definition ordinance that was brought forward? And where is that? And also there have been many requests for an ordinance that protects residential areas from warehouses. And where is that? The council has proven recently that it can move pretty quickly, but these things seem to be stalled, and quality of life for residents is a thing. So those are my questions.
Okay, so the warehouse definition is the other type that the residential places protected from warehouses. Again, it's a discussion that have happened, and we are still working to find consensus to gather a right balance and also to make it effective. Because if we put it on the books as not effective, it doesn't really work.
Great.
So that is something that we are working towards. Unfortunately, don't have a timeline as to when that will happen. Now, in terms of the decision for the camera angle, I will let administration answer that. That is not a decision that council made. We are not part of the executive branch.
Hi, with regard to the camera, we're just trying different angles.
Council President, I'm sorry.
Are you done, so do you have any other questions?
I don't understand that answer.
Okay, if you don't mind, I can pass it on to the council vice president.
Yeah, Yes, I actually spoke to Bob Deal today, and because I've been getting a lot of people who are complaining about that, and I don't blame them. I don't understand why all the focus is gonna be on the council members and not give respect to the people who are speaking. And so I'm gonna be discussing this at the next meeting in my council comments, but I would like to see the camera angle restored to the way it was before. This makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Dr. Master.
You're next.
All right, so one of the things that Councilman Coyle has been asking for since 2016 is the economic developer. I'm hopeful that we can spend, it was like 120,000, 150,000, what we said it was, but I'm not sure why we can't get that. It sounds like that has some promise. We really should work on that. We spend a lot of money on overruns on lots of things. Why can't we get this one person out there in Claiborne and all across Edison? That would be wonderful to have. So it's a good idea. I think we should really push through on that. Unless there's something that you guys can say that I don't see. One of the reasons I like coming here and why I wanted to have like one question and go back and forth is because I don't always understand every single thing that's there. So if we go back and forth, I can probably understand that a little bit better. I think other people as well. Or if you say something that triggers something in my head, I'm like, let me go and discuss that now versus offline. Doesn't make sense to have disjointed conversation. The other thing that I have is, I don't speak for you, you don't speak for me. There are narratives that are being brought against selective groups in Edison or about people. I never said that I was against the redevelopment agency, as the other people have said back here, against the process. I'm about transparency, qualifications, to make sure that people are vetted properly. And so one of the things that I wish we had on the council was that we could rebut the council, because sometimes you might misunderstand us, and we don't have any recourse to say anything. The meeting ends, and then we can do offline or whatever, or I can come during the next meeting, and then something could be said wrong again, and then we just keep chasing this whole process over and over again, and it's kind of very frustrating. So I would like to have the redevelopment agency. I just think that we should be getting the best candidates. We should not just pick the first one that's given to us. You're allowed to go ahead and say no to the first one. I think, again, as I said, Tom O'Shea, the one that actually brought this to the attention of the mayor, and I thank the mayor for running with this, by the way, and listening to the residents. I think that that would have been the optimal choice, right there, somebody who has experience. I do not have a problem with the person that power that's on council, or somebody who's a committee person. They have influence. And I just want a normal, everyday person, or somebody that has experience, or like Councilman Pointer said, somebody that can take the information, disseminate it, and make a responsible decision. So, I mean, this person looks like they have the qualifications, but again, I do question why on the rest of it, nobody, or Council President, you weren't able to tell me that if you belong to the EDO, but Councilwoman Harris was, so I'm just confused about how that was possible there. I like the idea of having a person coming and asking one question and then having you respond, but again, it is at your discretion. So again, Tom also was the reason why the Real Development Agency was out of dormancy. And again, I do think that he does not have any conflict of interest, and I think that he would be the best pick. And that is basically all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for the economic developer, that is something that I have been asking in my discussion items, and it is something that Sonia has assured us that they are looking for a right candidate, and they haven't found. I will ask Sonia to update us again. I believe that's still the case. And in terms of, I agree, redevelopment agency is something that we should all support. And then Tom O'Shea, I believe he sounds like a great candidate, but unfortunately it is not for the council to appoint. It is for the mayor to appoint. Once he appoints it, then we can review his resume, and then he can decide whether or not we want him for the redevelopment agency.
I still have time, right?
Yes.
So if somebody like Tom O'Shea, like you said that this was advertised somewhere, can we make it much easier to find? And I can tell.
It's just an application, but I believe they might, I'm not sure what the process of advertising, but I can ask the administration to make it more,
Easier to
make more
find.
permissive, more pervasive.
Because I'm sure he would have applied, and he just wasn't aware. And really, him being at that mayoral meeting with lots of people, like, I really feel like he should have reached out to and been the first one, really.
Anthony Diermer, Wiley Ave.
You're
I was back there looking on my phone. I was looking up at the Edison Reporter, which I recommend to everybody. It's a tremendous local news outlet now, just like New Brunswick Today. Does a great job, Charlie. So I was looking at these articles, and I came across an article from about a month ago regarding the mayor, and allegations regarding sexual misconduct back when he was a council member. I can tell you this, I was approached at my home one day, 2 years ago, by the victim at the time, who I didn't know. And she began to tell her story. And, I'm not judge or jury, but I'll tell you this, there's some things in that story that just make you just say, how is there not an investigation into what the hell happened here? She needed surgery for crying out loud. I am not about to, the mayor was a friend of mine, was a good friend of mine at the time, and he deserves his side of the story as well. And we haven't heard a single comment from the mayor. And I don't believe anybody outside of maybe one council member, none of the council either. I mean, these are some serious stuff here, and the fact that hey, they looked into it in the county and stuff, and nothing came of it. That's nobody believes that. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but something did happen. Believe me. I mean, it did. I don't know. I'm not judge or jury, but I mean, we deserve to hear his side of the story, and he deserves his side. But there's some stuff that was said. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's I think we need to take that a little more seriously. Regarding the public comment stuff, I was myself at the time one of the leading voices behind getting we're not progressing, we're actually going backwards now and taking time away and no back and forth, and it's just, I don't even know why you even have public comments. Everybody should just then write their questions in and you guys can read them off. Quite frankly, that's where we're getting to. So I'm a little, I like to see go the other way. Warehouse, two warehouses supposedly going or being proposed next to the dog park, Metuchen Edison Dog Park, which is the old, what's that, Green Acres, I think, land property behind Women Avenue. I mean, that is ground zero for overdevelopment. I've been saying that forever. And now they want to put a warehouse or two warehouses back over there. It's just, that's my old neighborhood back there. It's just incredible how the traffic there is just going to be a disaster. So I really hope or as planning board or whoever's looking into that, really, really gives that a good look. And hopefully denies it, possibly, who knows. James Monroe traffic, I did ask, about doing a traffic, I know the chief was looking into, I did see that the police out there doing some type of maybe study or something. It's really bad, getting worse, and I just fear that if there was an emergency, God forbid, in the morning and it's only like 10 minutes of time that we're talking about here. I don't know how a fire truck or an emergency vehicle can get down Halo. It's real bad. So I mean, these vehicles, in my opinion, should be going in one way, out the same way, or out the other way, in a flow of traffic. It's really scary. So there's really 10 minutes of time between 8:45 and 9. You're looking at 15 minutes that you worry about. God forbid there was an emergency. So hopefully something can be done about that traffic. At least for those times, maybe more like a one-way for a certain time out of the morning. If there's time, I never asked about my time. How much? 1 minute? 1 minute, thank you. I need that stuff for Esther, by the way. Esther, still going, still on, hanging out strong. Still watching these meetings. We drop off the agenda to her. Anyways, there should put up like a clock right there that shows us our time. I mean, so we don't have to ask. Maybe that'd be a little more feasible. Just a suggestion. I don't know. And that's it, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we are working on the time clock. We should have that up and running soon. Anything else I'd like to speak?
Anonymous, am I recognized?
You're recognized.
Okay, I came here to speak about other topics, but because people want to mention my name and lie with my name involved, I'm gonna set the record straight. The last time the mayor tried to repeal the time, okay, the BA lied, ex-councilwoman lied up there and said members of the public made racist and sexist remarks that we never made. You guys enabled this mayor. So when they're saying to me that we're gonna nip something in the butt, what are we gonna nip in the butt? What do they want me to do, get shot in the head? For what, coming to the meetings and doing my constitutionally protected activity, which is speaking during my time? If you got a problem with the mayor and what he's doing, go speak to the mayor. I don't care if you guys are a bunch of cowards, all right? Take it up with the mayor. It's administration's problem. They don't want to show the public, and they even lie about it. But, you know, to bring up my name, to mention something that happened in January, you guys deserve to get cursed off. You guys tried to frame me for an arson that never happened. You guys gave me 3 felony charges. You guys slandered me in a newspaper that I was criminally restraining child predators and threatening to cut off their peepees. So when I had for 2 years, I wasn't able to use my social media, generate an income that I used to give to my mom. You understand? I didn't get a YouTube paycheck until one day after my mom passed away. And I was found innocent of those charges. So this town keeps fucking with me, all right? They keep blaming me for shit that I have no control over. You got a problem with the mayor? Take it up with the mayor. Do you have enough integrity to say that no one made no racist or sexist remarks? No, you don't. You won't say that today. And because of your zero integrity actions, the mayor used that to attack other residents, where Suzanne Russell put it in the media that somebody made racist and sexist remarks. It was insinuated on Mayor Sam Joshi's Facebook page that it was me, and a whole bunch of people were threatening me over it. It's not my problem. Go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves.
Sir,
excuse
we've
me?
been over this.
I politely
Please.
say, no, I'm politely saying.
Sir, if you continue the use of vulgarity, the council president is within his rights to revoke your time.
And
Please.
I will file a tort claim. I know
Point of privilege?
Point of privilege.
He has a constitutional right under Roosevelt versus New Jersey to be able to curse. So.
Sir, you have not been recognized by the council
So,
president. I would suggest that you sit
I
down.
continue, how much time do I
Point
have?
of privilege, please. Point of privilege.
You're recognized. Pause this time.
So any speaker here is allowed to curse. That's Roosevelt versus New Jersey, 1972. So you threatening him with being able to curse or not, excuse me, I'm not done yet. It's a violation of his rights. It's a deprivation of his civil rights, which is a criminal charge.
Thank you. You can start this time.
What's the answer to the point of privilege?
We don't continue this conversation. Thank you. You can sit
You have
down.
the answer to it, though. It's a point.
The point important here is that we want to not create violent, insightful language. And what he was stating was violent, insightful language.
No, it wasn't.
To me, it was.
Want and get.
And it is my duty to
Those
keep
are
it
not
decorum.
fighting words.
Your point of inquiry was answered. Please sit down. Any more disruption will be asked you to leave.
Well, you're not following Robert's rules.
You can continue this time.
okay? I still gotta go to jail, I still gotta face all those fake charges. Thousands of dollars I lost, but the mayor terrorizes this community, and instead of the community standing back towards the mayor, we gotta nip it in the bud, we gotta fuck with Cristo, we gotta bother Cristo. I don't appreciate that, that's complete bullshit, and how much time do I have left, Marlena?
About 2 minutes.
I can't even stand here right now. My migraine's so severe, I don't even know how I'm even able to stand up. But thankfully I can. The mayor's a piece of shit. He's attacking the residents, and like we see,
Sir.
former council people and other residents are blaming me for it. Deputy Chief Dudash, you're not a victim. You were never a victim. I cursed you off, what of it? You put bullshit in the media. You lied in the media, and I came here and I set the record straight. Through the chair to do that, I came here and I set the record straight. So what problem is that? This is the appropriate time, place, and manner to set the record straight. So what's the problem? Would you like members of the public to show up to your homes and get the answers there? Or can they come to this meeting at the appropriate time, place, and manner? How much time do I have left, Marlena?
Almost a minute.
Almost a minute.
Pause this time.
So
If you
no,
don't
my
want
time's
to
not
ask,
paused.
use your vote.
I don't recognize my time being paused. I continue to have.
Sir,
I have
if
a
you're gonna
migraine.
keep your mask on, I will be asking you to vote on this chamber.
Point of privilege.
Officer,
Point of
can you
privilege.
please remove him?
I call the point of privilege. I'm calling the point of privilege. I call the point of privilege.
Boo.
Okay, can I get my stuff over there? So I'm being told to leave under threat of arrest, right? Oh, what's up, Sam? What's up, Mark? Yeah. And here they go, they're using the police to come after us, but they're not the enemy, you're the enemy. Shame on you, Councilman Joe. Shame on you. And you know what? Fuck this town and fuck the government. You got a problem with what I said? Fuck you guys, man. I lost thousands. Fuck all of you.
Okay. Anybody else that would like to speak? Name and address.
Edward Lefty Grimes. I'm with SativaCross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey fighting for disability rights and for cannabis patients' rights.
You're recognized.
You're not going to ask me to take my mask off?
Oh, sorry. Please take off your mask.
I had to remind you to do your job.
Yeah, there's
a prize underneath for every time. There's a prize. Don't you want the prize? Today it's Joshi. Can you see it? What does it say, Pat?
Joshi is a milky liquor.
Sir, we have only one person at.
I don't know what a milky liquor is, but it's in the Jerky Boys movie. If you ever watch a Jerky Boys movie, they talked about milky liquors. It could be funny. It doesn't seem to manifest certain social redeeming characteristics, but either does Joshi. So, however, I'm here to hypnotize you, and I'm here to maybe exercise some of you. And I'm gonna ruin a song for you. I'm gonna make sure that the rest of your life, you're gonna have an earworm in your brain for what I'm about to do. You're never gonna forget disability rights or human rights. Disability rights and human rights, and I'm gonna make sure you never forget this. You ready? Okay. Disability rights are human rights. 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 Disability rights are human I'm in the middle of the disability national anthem. You don't interrupt the national anthem. Might make me pause.
There's been a request by the council president, point of order has been called by a member of the council, Councilman Pointer.
Oh, it's figures.
Our rules and procedures, it says that we can call point of order in terms of items that are repetitious in nature. You stated the same sentence multiple times for over a minute. So to me, as a
sounds like you.
Yes, so the point of order has sustained, sir, you have no longer right to speak. You can still participate by listening to the conversations.
I'm not done. How much time do I have left?
Sir, your time is forfeited.
My time is forfeited? For what? For saying disability rights and human rights? Really? For saying disability rights and human rights? You're going to forfeit my time for saying disability rights and human rights? Are you kidding me? Disability rights and human rights. How are you going to are you a disabled vet? None of you people are disabled vets. How dare you? He's a disabled vet. You wouldn't have this council if it wasn't for disabled vets fighting for your right to be ignorant and ableist. How dare you? How dare you silence disability rights? How dare you? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Telling me I can't talk about disability rights. You wouldn't have that cushy seat that stinks without disabled vets fighting for your rights. How dare you? Who do you think you are? You want to play political theater? We're the best at it. We're better than you. You move the chair, you move this back, you think you're smart, you change the camera angles, you think you're smart, you wore your mask today, thinking I'm going to ask you to take it off, you think you're smart? No, we're going to be smart. Wait till you see what happens to you when you get sued for taking away Zoom access for the disabled vets. Wait till you see what happens to you. Because other towns are being sued for it. I can't wait to see your attorney get sued for disability rights not being human rights in your town. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. 68% of Jesus' miracles were for the disabled. Where's your energy at? Where's your energy at? And yes, my sign says Joshi is a milky liquor. And the rest of you are too. Disgusting. Disgusting. We should come back here every week. Shame on you. Shame on you. And yeah, she's right. It should be nipped in the bud because now you started a huge tree that you're not going to be able to control. You should have nipped it in the bud. But you're too ignorant. Now you've got political theater up your butt. And then they can end. And it's not going to be pretty.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak?
Council President, yes, just for the record on the Zoom meeting, right? I just want to be on the record to our attorney and to the business administrator so she can let the mayor know. I know that we've had many lawsuits here, which will come up as he tries to run for office again. But if we end up getting sued because we couldn't make a reasonable accommodation for people that have disabilities with Zoom, I just wanted on the record that the attorney and the business administrator was notified. So I'd ask you to please send an email to the mayor to request that we have this done. We did it during COVID. It is a reasonable accommodation. Anything more than that is just, in the face saying, because I don't want to hear from certain people, I don't want to do it. That's not an adult thing to do. I'm looking for the mayor to do the adult thing here. So please inform him. That would be the council president.
Council President. Monday work session meeting with Zoom access was my discussion item, and I did ask administration to seriously look at it. I will fully support for the transparency and for the democracy. Let's open the Zoom meeting. And I spoke about that. I was told that you are looking into it, but hopefully by next council meeting we'll have some answer. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else that would like to speak?
Yeah, you called me.
Yes. Name and address?
My name is Bong Holio. You can find me on any bong, any coffee table across the state or the country. I'm a bong. You spell that BONGHOLEO. That's the correct spelling of Bong Holio. Some people get that wrong. So I'm here with my baby. This is Bong Holito. And I think it's unfair that I'm not being valued properly as a resident or a member of the public, I would like the audience to see me at home. So I'm gonna take a couple steps up here and I'm gonna turn around so that the people at home can see me.
Sir, remain where you are. Officers,
You can't just make a rule like that on the spot. It's my time to talk. I chose to do
Required to remain.
I chose to do what I was able to do last time.
sir, you are so fine. Please remove him. Please remove him. One second.
I'm getting kicked out.
Sir, officer, sorry, officer, I misspoke. He returned to the podium. If you step away from the podium again, you will be removed.
Yeah, because the way you guys, your policy is a warning.